102.5 FM, and we're on the True Penny channel. This is the Wrestling Rewind. My name is Darragh O'Connor, and very sorry for the massive delay. Since the last show, which was after AEW's Full Gear, the world changed. Everything is crazy. And to help me break down what's going on, it's my pleasure to welcome Carl King.
Go on, man.
I wanted to have it on the show for a while,
Why?
so you're most welcome. You're a podcaster in and of yourself, so for anyone who's familiar, where can people find you?
Well, I do my own podcast called King Woe's Court, which is basically dealing with um, Irish metal bands. That's the way I look at it. And we also do another one, don't we, ourselves?
We do what's a monthly podcast?
On whichever one they want us to talk about. So, you know, I think the first one, the second one was the Intercontinental Championship.
Really enjoyed that.
That
Really
was
enjoyed that.
It was good.
So
the next one I think we're doing.
yeah, it is. I'm excited about that. Listen to this show. I did an 8-hour breakdown in a past life of the one horse.
Did you actually record for 8 hours?
Yeah, like it wasn't full on, but it was 8 hours.
Oh, right.
So yeah, like I love the Monday Night Wars. It was great, and the invasion angle and stuff like that. So it's fun, and there's so much to talk about. So yeah, we're recording that now. 2 days to break the fourth wall. So
it'll be good.
Yeah, so check that out. I'll leave a link to it on the page. On our show coming back, like it's, as I said, from last time I did this show to now, things are not more different. So yeah, everyone knows that we have a pandemic around the world, including wrestling.
Yeah, everything.
We're on the cusp of lockdown. The UK is on lockdown. Countries all right. So that goes without saying. But it's WrestleMania season.
Doesn't feel like it really now, and I don't know, no one's fault, but it really doesn't.
No, but like that's still going ahead, and it's changing by the hour. So like we could talk about this now, and it could change. So do keep do take this with a grain of salt or whatever. But so let's start with the elephant in the room. WrestleMania is in 2 weeks, right? And it was supposed to be in Tampa, but now it's been moved to the Performance Center. No, and not only has it moved to the Performance Center, but it's pre-taped. Not only is it pre-taped, but it's 2 nights. So you can't make it up, and it's an empty arena as well.
I have to say, I'm trying to get on board with AEW, but I'm still finding it very hard. But what they did with their show last week a lot
better.
It looked much better. It's like some sort of atmosphere there.
But like we can, there was like that comparison between what was going to be the when like I liked the first SmackDown that they did. I thought that was kind of funny and unique, and he played up. The Raw after it was terrible because it just felt like a weird stage play.
Yeah,
it was shot. No, I had nothing. Yeah. And then when I watched AEW, I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. You have a bit more fun with it. It's looser. It's shot differently. Like, it doesn't look like it's empty all the time. But like, I was watching Raw last night, and they kind of changed it up a bit. They kind of had everything closer up.
It was much better.
It was much better. It was.
I was sorry for interrupting you. I was at the Shayna Baszler interview.
That was great.
Yeah, but when all the lights came up, and you could see all the Raw set, it just looked cool. I was like, okay, that could work for the small shows.
Yeah.
Still not me.
Well, look, I think what they're going to do with Mania, and it's what looks like they are going to do, they're going to have as little real matches as possible. And what I mean by that is, like, I think we're going to have a card filled with gimmick matches.
Yeah, but look, if there's ever a time for a full card of gimmick matches, now is it.
Yeah, like we have a bonus match.
No one knows what that is yet.
No one knows what that is. I feel like we're watching TNA circa 2007 again, and like that's anything I say in this, anything we say, it's not that we're down in the product, because that's harsh. they're trying to literally give us a show in the face of a pandemic where you can't be in a room with more than you can't be in a room with more than 4 people.
Yeah.
So it's just like fair play, and like here's the thing: they're taping this week, but that could be cancelled straight away.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
I know that they did a couple of episodes of SmackDown. I think yesterday or the day
yeah,
before.
yeah, they're
So,
taping out their shows now. I think they're all Mania now.
yeah. But it's such a shame because there's so many things that would have done this. Drew beats Brock. That would have been a great moment, WrestleMania moment. It really would have been. Edge with his coming back as well.
Yeah,
That bastard.
like there's a lot to rely on for
Yeah.
the top. We said the card, but the card wasn't bad either.
I don't think it's
otherwise not at all. Like not great. But that's the same with every WrestleMania. Now,
they're all have fillers exactly. Yeah.
yeah, like here's the thing though. Do you think that like we mentioned the gimmick Moya getting a gimmick, and I can
Yeah. Yeah. I listened to. I don't know if you listen to or watch. What culture?
yeah
They're wrestling every day.
yeah.
Like the the match.
Yes, that would make sense. Like here's the thing. What I've been reading about it is that WWE are looking to kind of think outside the box here because they kind of have to. Arena WrestleMania, that would be really poor.
Yeah. Yeah. I still think they're going to do something different and unique, but it still doesn't feel like Mania season, you know?
No, it doesn't. And I think this will be the Mania that everyone doesn't talk about in like because
Yeah.
it's Mania 2000 or nobody talks about WrestleMania 2000
Uh,
or Royal Rumble 1999 outside of the amazing Mankind Rock match. Yeah, no one talks about them. They're gone. And I think that's what's kind of been happening here. But I will have to say they might actually for the first time have a decent match where they can just pre-record it and edit it so it looks good when you think about it. Like Roman's a pretty decent worker, but Goldberg isn't.
yeah,
It's
exactly. No problem with Roman Reigns, but I can't stand Goldberg. I never could,
like I like Goldberg in WCW, and when he's doing his 90-minute thing where he runs in,
No.
and you know, yeah, but that's what he does. That's his thing, right? And when you try to get him out of that, that's when you have problems. But I think what to be able to do here is to be like, all right, cut. Goldberg goes off, gets the ventilation, comes back in, he's ready to go again. And that's what I can do. So it may not be terrible. It won't be great by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it'll be better than what we've seen before. You know?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I mean, has to be better than a fucking Saudi Arabia thing, anyway.
Oh, that was dire. That's up there as one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Well, I hate seeing those things. I really do.
It's that's what the kind of premise of the AJ Styles Taker match is based on, right? That Bree's broken down.
Yeah, yeah.
So I know there's obviously we're a week out. We have another couple of hurls to go before it finishes. But news broke today that the women's match has changed. Brooke is placed in quarantine.
Oh,
They moved her from the 6-pack to 5 women elimination now.
wait,
Yeah. And this is what I mean.
women.
What I mean, like, if this happens in where it is, could be shut down.
Yeah.
And that's why it's I'm glad to have you on the show here to kind of react to this because this is huge. But also apparently all can't travel. They're all in Florida now.
Oh
They
my
can't
god.
travel because if they travel they won't come back like Lesnar and live in Canada.
Yeah.
He goes back to Canada.
Okay. So wait, family,
Yeah, sorry, what?
and he won't like that.
No, well, that's it. I think that's why they're taping today, I think, or tomorrow, and have that just everyone now apparently is in one hotel. All the road agents, everything's just kind of locked down there. So, if this happens, even if it is kind of a miracle, it will happen. You know, and
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the truth. I don't know. Raw was better than it was. Like last night was quite good.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think of the fact now that we're seeing that we never thought we'd see taking time off? Because like we're seeing a very minimalistic Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah. Like, even about like some of the guys taking time off, like.
Yeah, well, one thing I've been watching, and we will get back into Mania talk in a second, but one thing that really struck me with the way the shows are now, they can fill an hour or two with vault footage.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, isn't it?
And that's
As
what they're
well.
doing. Yeah, that's what they're doing. And then promo package. Like, there's no reason for all the guys to be out working, you know, as much as they do and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because we're still getting content. Like, you know, the network now, fair play, they're actually giving the network away for free at the moment, which is sound.
Yeah.
But like, you have enough footage there to just run shows as long as you want. Like, WWE never has to run another show again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, in reality, like, yeah, we might not like it, but they could just go, all right, we're gonna run Nitro or Raw
Yeah.
for the next 4 years, and then you won't know the difference. And I think this is kind of blows away the argument that wrestling doesn't work without not season, because you know
Yeah.
we're on and off season now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like, what we're getting 1 or 2 matches, maybe it's with like you know low level guys. I like the black man's head. Just saying, that's the best squad.
I think for me, I'd like to see him really get over, but they keep putting him in. I mean, he's destroy really somebody credible like at this stage.
Well,
That's
that's
what
what
I
they're
think.
going. That's what they're going to do with Lashley, I think.
Well, Lashley, yeah.
Yeah, I think that you know they're building them up like your classic way of feeding them guys, and then he'll beat Lashley, and that'll be him on the way to an IT title. You know,
I would sorry for putting in there, but I like Lashley. I think I
I
hate
like
the way
Lashley
he's
too.
been used. Hate the way he's been used. And here's another thing. Where the fuck's Rusev? Where's Rusev? Sorry. Where's Rusev?
Like with Lashley, I have a bad taste in my mouth with Lashley a couple of years ago, and he talked about golf for 25 minutes. This is when he was in TNA. This when he was the world champion. The world champion. Never, he was champion at, and I'm like, so who are you wrestling in the UK tour or tonight on the, you know, and he goes, I don't know. I just want to go home. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to put that in an article. That's not good.
Jesus, that's all you need.
Yeah. But but with Ashley, you know, I think he's a great talent, but it needs to be given the. And right now, he's on the side here, so over someone like us back. I think maybe that's where your competitive matches would be, Carl. Like you have your Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, Aleister Black, Lashley matches. That I think we'll see those in the Performance Center. You
Yeah.
know, it's kind of, but then the bigger tier ones, they'll probably be elsewhere. Like even the SmackDown match will be in the Performance Center. Like, how do you think this is going? Sorry, go on.
Go on, how do I think?
How do you think this is going to break down over the days?
I don't know. That's what I was gonna actually say to you. Like, I mean, first of all, do they know where the second venue is yet?
They haven't. It's still changeable. I've heard numerous different things. They're all going to be in the
Yeah.
locality of Florida more because it's the only place they can really kind of do it, you know. Um, but I'm not too sure. Like, I kind of saw this coming when they scrapped Takeover. I was like, right, that means something's going to happen on that Saturday. That's important because it's no wrong. Why would they scrap Takeover? You know. So I did
Yeah.
kind of. It wasn't shocking for me. But what's interesting about this is, are we going to have two 2-hour shows? Are we going to have two 4-hour shows? You know,
2 to 3 hours, maybe.
well, you know, again, like if that happens, it also kind of throws the whole listen, you know, an hour long. You know, you know, 6 hours is a bit overkill, but it's a much more enjoyable experience for me. I think, like I'm not self, so like I'd rather just watch 3 hours of wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. The
Um,
only thing, so like, I mean, are they going to? will they include matches in those days or?
No, what they and this is coming on from WrestleView. They've said that apparently this is going to be announced on NXT on. So apparently the Tampa matches are going to begin to air on the USA Network from April 1st. Triple H will appear on tomorrow night's episode of NXT to make the announcement that NXT Takeover Tampa Bay was supposed to take place on Saturday 4th, but due to COVID-19, cancelled. Right. So only one match was confirmed at the event, which was the women's number one contender ladder match, and other potential matches are Adam Cole versus the Velveteen Championship. Right. So apparently all those matches are happening, but they're gonna be shown on NXT television, which is a great move.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, again, it gives people an opportunity to see high level matches. I suppose you could say pay per view level matches at NXT.
Well, that's it, and it's again AEW are still doing. So let's bring AEW back into it. AEW are still doing shows, right? But their Blood and Guts show has been cancelled or
Right,
postponed because like Jericho actually went off on someone there on Twitter who was like, "Oh, I hate that this happened." He's like, "Dude, there's like 15 people in that match. We can't have 15 people in the building." So it makes sense, right? It's like it's not going to happen, but they're still going to tape and they're still going to run from where they were last week. So that seems to be their little lockdown for a while, and it's like again, this is just wrestling now. This is just where we are. So I was personally, I love War Games. It's my favorite ever match
really.
type. Yeah, I love War Games. I love it, and even Deal's brand War Games is still fine in Blood and Guts. Um, so I was kind of sad to hear that was cancelled, but then I totally understood why. I was like, yeah, it's physically impossible, right? Um, unless you want to have a webcam pointed at the ring and everybody outside watching it, like that's that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're going to continue on as normal. There's a couple of matches announced for this week, but it just is what it is. Matt Hardy's going to have his in-ring debut this week.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just a face to face with Jericho, but of course, I'd say there'll be some sort of interaction there, are we?
Yeah, exactly. And let's just kind of switch gears there into AEW. There's again so much news, right? So we were supposed to have the debut of the Exalted One, which people thought would be Matt Hardy. It wasn't. It
Mm.
was Brody Lee, who was Eric Rowan, not Eric Rowan, Luke Harper in WWE. What do you think of that? Do you think it was a good promo?
I think, yeah. Well, you see, I'm not a big fan of Evil Uno and Gray. What's the name? The other fella, uh, in the Dark Order. But I love Brody.
Yeah,
Really. I love Matt Hardy. But
yeah,
what I would like, this is just me now thinking. I think it's great that they're there, and I would like to see. What I'd like is if try and walk with me here. If Brody Lee was actually a fake leader,
right.
and if Matt Hardy actually was the exalted one in the end, I think that'd be cool.
I think it'd be cool, but I think they've entrenched this now so far that they can't really because Matt Hardy is there feuding with the Inner Circle.
Mm,
So it's like maybe they could here's the thing, we don't know what the Matt Hardy character is yet at the moment. Like we know it's kind of based on the broken Matt Hardy more than the woken Matt Hardy, but it's still way too early. So maybe that could happen. But I do like the fact that we're hearing him talk now, and he's a pretty
yeah,
good promo.
absolutely
Great promo.
cool. Yeah, he's.
That promo we cut was fantastic, and the video package was great too.
There was an awful lot of hints of the Wyatt family were on them as well.
Oh, it was pure he's pretty much just being Bray Wyatt, But I suppose he kind of can be. It's like when the member leaves a band and he's like, "I'm just gonna take my songs with me," you
Yeah.
know. That's kind of what it felt like, And Bray Wyatt's not doing that stuff anymore. So why
Which
not?
I'm raging he's not. I love the old Bray Wyatt later cult thing. That was great.
Oh man, I love the cults in wrestling. It's great. They never commit to it though. They
No.
always kind of kill it before it's too soon. Like CM Punk with his Straight Edge Society doing the
Oh
Charles
yeah,
Manson thing, that was great. And then it got some legs and they killed it.
yeah.
So this, I think AEW, and this is AEW's model. And I think this is why you're not a huge fan of them as well. It kind of bugs me as well. Like they do stuff. They don't do anything original, right?
No.
They do nothing original. But what they do is they pick up what the fans want
Yeah.
and then run with it. And
Uh,
then they do stuff that WWE fans have wanted for years. Vince won't do, so they're
yeah.
like, "Oh, we'll do it," and that's
That.
what they're doing with this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They'll do stuff that, like you were saying, like they won't that WWE won't pull the trigger with. These will.
Yeah,
You know.
and they'll run with it, and then but it just like again, it's cool to see, and it's great that it's there, but it's also kind of annoying because they're never going to do anything original. They're always going to do it. Now it's not as bad as Impact or
No.
TNA when they just do God knows what. you know,
That company.
oh, they do God knows what. That's a show in and of itself, I think. Um, and it's frustrating because of how poor it was. But with AEW, it's like the Dark Order. I think it's a great move. I think it's great to kind of do it. My dogs are barking. I apologize. I have loads of dogs. It's always the little ones, always the little yappy yolks. They always bark. It's never the big dogs. They just don't care. Um, yeah, and it's cool to kind of see it there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Matt Hardy does as well, because apparently he went to AEW. The only reason why he left WWE was he never felt like he was booked correctly.
Yeah.
And it came out today that he was talking with Jericho as well, I think, and he said that he would have stayed if Triple H had been in charge. What do you think
That's
about
right.
that?
You listen to that podcast actually. It's very good.
Well, and do you think that was like a massive factor in it, or do you think that's just spin?
No, I think so. I think Matt Hardy is a WWE guy at heart. I really
Right.
do. And I think if Triple H was in charge, he would have stayed there actually, and I think Triple H would have given him the freedom as well.
Yeah. Well, apparently they offered him a massive role in NXT.
Yeah, I think he feels that he's past NXT. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and I can understand that. He's done so much in WWE, but like NXT, when Finn went back, it was great because it's like, oh man, it feels like going to the main roster in a lot of ways, or main
Yeah,
roster. It's an emotion in a lot of ways because you're squished into this and you can't do it and you're stuck. And for me, like it's hard to kind of say because I'm not in the company, I'm not a wrestler, but I would, from a fan's perspective, I was just like, hey, NXT is more room to grow. But then again, AEW is the same. It's
yeah,
just it's the same kind of feel. It's just something totally different. And then if the factor is Vince, he's definitely not in AEW.
yeah. That's it.
You know?
I mean, and I think he was saying also, Matt Hardy was saying that they're going to give him the freedom to see where he goes with this version of Broken Matt Hardy. So that's going to be cool because I do think, the kind of stuff he does out at the compound and all. I think it's great. Like it's good. Like
Well, see,
it's different.
what's great about that now is this is the perfect time for it. It's free content, not free content, but they give him a couple of $1,000 and say, hey, just shoot stuff at the compound,
Yeah,
and that's a couple
it's
of segments.
it's yeah. Like I don't know. Again, I don't know if you heard that podcast, but he was saying that he pitched a section
Yeah,
to WWE
I
about
heard this.
yeah the part where he's going to take lads over to the compound and give them 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever. And I thought that was a great concept.
It was, but again, this is what we've heard for years, man. If Vince hasn't made it, he doesn't want to push it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's such a shame. It's such a shame, like, because even though this was born in TNA were like, "Hey, go for it," and then you can take it with you. And look, we saw so many guys get over based on that. And this could
Yeah,
be the same. Like, again, this was probably all signed, sealed, delivered before the virus hit. And I can only imagine Triple H going, "Oh, that would have been content we could have used."
yeah. Triple. Well, you see, that's the thing. Whether people like him or not, he is a visionary. You
Yeah,
know.
he is.
And
And look, think about it. Like, if he hadn't have put that money into the performance center, we would have no WWE now.
absolutely,
Or
absolutely.
if we we wouldn't have as much of it because they literally have a center going, we own this, we can lock it down as much as we want, and it's TV ready, it's pay-per-view ready.
Yeah. And
It's
again, it's looking more TV ready with every show that they're doing now. Like,
exactly like it took them a while to kind of figure out. Like I think Raw last night was I heard someone describe it as "Here comes the pain angles."
What?
The video game WWE SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard them describe that's how they did all the camera angles, and it's like, yeah, kind of,
Oh, it
kind of.
looks.
It works. It looks great. Like it didn't feel like. I will have to say, when I was watching Raw with Austin, I was excited because I'm watching. I'm like, this is pretty bad. Like this is pretty bad.
Yeah, the whole thing where like whoever it was waiting for him to stun them or whatever, or you
Yeah.
see me, and when you have
It's you buy into it more. Even you had cute characters and there was something to work off, and it's like wrestling is a entertainment that really relies on the crowd, like more
yeah,
than anything. More than even us playing shows or anything like that. The crowd is huge in wrestling, and to not have the crowd, it removes that middle thing that particularly Attitude Era guys really really need.
yeah,
And I felt really sorry for Austin because I was like, oh man, this is. Nah. But look, they did what they could, and it
yeah.
was pretty funny. The Byron Saxon Stunners were hilarious. But
We're inside.
but like yeah, in a week they upped their game to a much better appearance with the show, and
Absolutely,
Raw last night was a lot better. I really enjoyed it.
yeah. I
Also,
have.
sorry, one of my favorite matches was on last night of the past couple of years. That Royal Rumble triple threat match
Oh yeah, yeah,
with Rollins, Cena, and Lesnar. I'm like, I haven't seen this in years. So I know a
yeah,
lot of people are complaining about wrestling now at the moment, but I'm like, lads, this is best case scenario,
yeah.
really.
Choose really good matches and put them on, like you said. I mean, in fairness, they've 3 hours to fill.
Yeah, like, sure, this is what they used to do in Nitro when they'd have like a recap of whatever happened at the first hour and then 2 live hours. Now that was terrible. This is much better because they have the WWE library, which could literally be anything.
Yeah,
You could set up any stories in any way and just do it that way. And it's like, yeah, it's not live wrestling, but yeah, what's the point in having the network if you're not going to use the network?
absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely.
it's one thing that could end up crippling AEW if they can't run live shows. What are they going to do? They're around a year.
Mm. Yeah,
Like realistically, what are they going to? Like, now there is talk that they have a work relationship in New Japan, which looks like it's true. But what are they going to do? Run New Japan shows?
yeah.
You know.
I don't
Uh,
know. What are they going to do? They'll probably get the Bullet Club over or something. I don't know.
yeah, but like even still, like it's very limited with their time. But taking stuff a little bit home, the OTT wrestling was cancelled here. Their Scrapper Mania was cancelled like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Have any inside baseball on that or any thoughts on it? Nothing.
No, I don't know if many of your listeners are fans, so I wouldn't too over on the product. Sorry, don't know an awful lot about it. So
Well, what I find was interesting about it was, and I'd be the same. I'm casual fan at best, but what I find interesting about it was John Moxley, Dean Ambrose was supposed to be on that card,
that's right. I heard this. Yeah.
and it was cancelled. Now it was revealed he has been honestly donating money to independent wrestlers, and he did it. Yeah, and well, yeah, and honestly, but leaving your full real name is,
Yeah.
it's kind of like okay, yeah. So he actually gave like 2 grand, I think, back to OTT,
Yeah. Or to OTT. Yeah. Fair play.
which that was sound. That was sound, and I'm like, when I saw that, I was like, wow, like you get the feeling he's a great guy,
Mm.
seems like a great guy, and there you go. But did you hear what Braun Strowman has been doing online?
Is he giving out about people or something? Or?
He's giving out about independent wrestlers, pretty much saying, "Hey, fund me because I can't work
What?
time being." Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you need to get a new job," and I'm like, "This is ridiculous." It's like, we like I can just think about it in the same way. We're in a similar situation with bands where both our bands are on hold. Our cover band is on hold
Yeah.
for the time being. But there was a similar call there where some of the lads lost money and buy their merch, and
Yeah.
obviously there was the kind of support in the scene to do that. I would see this as something very very similar to that,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
in a much more real micro macro scale, because we all have real jobs
Mm.
and a lot of these independent wrestlers don't. This is their only
Good job. Yeah.
income, right? And I just thought it was kind of crappy on Braun Strowman's behalf to do that.
That's obviously someone who hasn't gone through the indies. You know.
Well, he hasn't.
No.
He hasn't. His quote was, "I gave up strongman to wrestle,
Oh
and I
yeah.
love strongman."
Right.
No,
Say that to Mick Foley, like, you know what I mean, or whoever.
Yeah, but like there's your difference. In one hand, you have Dean Ambrose who went through, or Moxley who went through, you know, the harsh indie of the indie, indie-rific, right?
He in CZW, wasn't
Yeah, that's where he started.
he? Oh God.
That's where he started. And you're just going, well, it's disappointing, because just to have that lack of awareness of the business is
Yes.
shocking. But yeah, look, supporting Ambrose or John Moxley because he's obviously a much better guy than what happened there. But
Gotta go Roman.
yeah, well, like I don't know, Twitter. Sometimes you just think back and you're just like, guys, stop going on Twitter. Just take Twitter away from certain people because it's bad.
Get away from WWE superstars. That's what I
They
say.
should, or just have someone to filter it. Someone sitting there going, I don't let X, Y, and Z tweet without reading it first. Um,
You know
but
what I always think is great on social media with
go on.
WWE? The New Day are great.
Oh, New Day are fantastic. New,
Yeah.
New Day even have a Twitch channel and everything, so it's great.
Brilliant.
Actually, speaking of the New Day, Xavier Woods probably picked the best time ever to Banjax's leg because he's like everyone else is off.
Yeah. He's in his groove at the moment. He really is.
Yeah, he's great. What do you think? Actually, speaking of which, have you had a look at the FCW documentary yet?
Not yet. No.
Watch it; it's fantastic. It's really good. It's the story of FCW from its transition of old FCW into being the feeder system from Ohio Valley Wrestling up
Yeah.
until it was changed over in NXT. It's actually one of the best documentaries WWE have done in years.
So it's up on the network, is
It's
it?
on the network, yeah. It's really good. Like there's people in there who I knew were in it, but then some I didn't. And just watching it, it's actually a lot of fun to go back on because I was obviously doing the Wrestlemania thing at the time, but you didn't have time to watch FCW because you were covering everything else. I knew people who were covering it. And I remember seeing the recaps up on WrestleView and stuff like that. But to actually go back and be able to watch it now with some context is really cool. So I'd
Yeah.
recommend that. It's about an hour and a half.
But that's a good hour and a half, though.
It's a
I'm
good hour
sure.
and a half, and it's up there with the best of the WWE documentaries. Getting into the rootless aggression stuff as well is quite good. And I wasn't a fan of the rootless aggression. That's when I left watching wrestling actually.
Really.
From 2003 until 2005. I remember coming back and watching wrestling. The night I came back to watch wrestling was after Metallica in the RDS in 2005 because that was the night that One Night Stand was on. That's when I started
Oh,
wrestling again.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I missed a lot of the rootless aggression stuff, so kind of going back and watching that was good. There's a lot of really good stuff on the network. And I cancelled my network subscription back after that Hell in a Cell debacle. But yeah, I was like, I just don't want to watch this again. This is terrible.
Me,
Sorry, go on.
you have it for free.
Yeah, well, no, I caved at the Royal Rumble, to be honest with you. Yeah, I caved at the Royal Rumble. But yeah, no, Hell in a Cell was when I finished my network subscription. I was like, I just can't. This is garbage. But like they've done a really good job. They've improved a lot of things on it, and I would say those two things alone are worth the money.
Yeah.
And now we're lucky because you can go back and watch. You can watch everything that they've kind of recorded, except for the live shows that they do. But yeah, so I would say definitely go for Impact Wrestling. Something we don't talk about that much. They've cancelled all their shows up until April.
Who's even in that organization anymore? I don't
Oh
even.
man, I
Dave,
don't know. I
Dave
don't
is.
know. Everyone's kind of gone with. They had they were doing a few bits and pieces. I know Rhino was there and a few others, but I couldn't tell you. But that's just some of the news that's on it. They're not even trying. They're just saying we're just canceling stuff. But apparently they're still paying people. They're still paying them everybody. So that's sound.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
but that's still. I mean, like that. I mean, I think I watched the highlights of it, and it's not just. It's just a little bit above NWA Power in terms of people attendance and
well, look, what they're on Twitch a lot now, and we're streaming on Twitch, but they're they're on Twitch as well, and they were streaming stuff from 2005, 2007 last night, and I'm like, okay, cool, but what is this? Is this it's kind of hard to figure out what they actually are now because they're
Yeah.
so outside. As you said, they're a little bit above NWA Power. So I wouldn't even know where to categorize them. So I think that was probably a smart move. Why risk everybody's health and money for no reason to stream on Twitch? You know.
Yeah.
Um. Oh well. In the last few moments, another WWE superstar has been quarantined.
Oh God, who?
Well, so according to Dave Meltzer of the Figure Four Online, two WWE superstars are in self quarantine after potential exposure to the coronavirus. Rey Mysterio and Dana
Oh,
Brooke are both under safe quarantine. Uh,
what match was Mysterio booked for Mania?
he wa- he wasn't booked at the moment. But Dana Brooke is gone in, and they've officially now fatal five-way match.
fatal five-way?
Fatal five-way.
They could have
Bailey,
come Big
Lacey.
Fan match or something, you know?
Yeah, that would make more sense. But yeah, I tell you, pre-taping this was a good idea because they don't know what this is moving so fast. And think about this: if this, the way they're in fact. So who did Rey Mysterio? Who was he around? Who was
Hmm.
Dana Brooke around? So
They're
yeah,
gonna have to put that out, yeah.
yeah, they're gonna have to like get that sorted. Like this could close down super quick. So I hope it doesn't. Fingers crossed that they get all the stuff recorded this week.
Mm.
But here's a real question for you, right?
Okay.
After Mania, what think's gonna happen? Because let me just say this. I think after Mania, they're just gonna be like, we're stopping.
I think so too. They're
We're,
gonna have to.
yeah, I think we're stopping. Here's replays in the studio in Connecticut. Just been like, hey, here's some of the best shows that we've had. Pick a topic, and then they do it every week.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what's gonna happen?
I think that's probably the best thing they can do. They've committed to do up to WrestleMania,
Mm,
and then I think they need to give them probably give their all of them a break.
yeah.
Like, and everyone can stay home, self isolate, and all that kind of stuff. Everybody, I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's the best thing that they can do. I
Like
really do.
that's what it feels like to me now because considering the fact now that there are people self isolating in the company, because again, like the way this works, people that don't know, every state in the US basically controls it. It's not like a central government kind of thing. Well, it can be, but Trump hasn't done that yet. It's
Yeah,
not like here in Ireland where, it's kind of like the EU, I suppose, where each country sets its own lockdown measures. And so far, Florida have been like, well, look, it's fine. Don't, just don't push it. But there's other
yeah,
countries other states in the US that are like, absolutely no way, zero. So that's why everyone's in Florida because they're one of the states that are like, oh yeah, look, 50 people, it's fine.
yeah,
Um, but the big concern was if superstars and wrestlers start contracting this, that's it, man. Game over.
absolutely. And that's the thing. And as you said, you've two now. How many more are we gonna get?
Yeah, like that's it. We know this thing grows really, really fast. So, pre-taping this was the smartest decision they've done, and hopefully they get it all done because it seems like a race against the clock going forward.
Feeling one of the main players is gonna get something at some point.
Well, the big risk is Reigns,
Yeah,
and Reigns is a big risk because he had leukemia. He has leukemia,
exactly.
and he's
Hopefully,
on immunosuppressants. Sorry, go on.
hopefully, hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, like I would be a Roman Reigns fan. Ever since I met him with the Shield and stuff, I like Roman Reigns a great deal.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, like that's scary. That has to be a very very scary. And a lot of wrestlers are just refusing to work because they're like, I'm not going anywhere near that. And I respect that. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Um, but hopefully nothing will happen to him. Hopefully he'll be all right. But
fingers crossed.
fingers crossed. It's that's what I'm saying. Everything we're saying here could be out the window in an hour, a day, a week. You know. But as we're standing now, that's who's affected. That's who's going forward, and that's the plan. I'm interested to see now what SmackDown's going to be like because we'll get a bit more insight maybe into what this Bray Wyatt match is going to be.
Mhm.
Um, how the women's match, how they're going to recover from losing Dana Brooke. And I really liked Miz and Morrison since they come back. They're just the absolute worst heels ever, but they're great. Um, yeah, look, there's a lot to play for. There's a lot on the table. We'll still just kind of have what's going on this week. AEW, it's going to be compared to what it was. But
Right?
that was good. Jericho, what Jericho lost the belt? Are you still wish he kept it?
Oh no, I'm for him to drop it to somebody. Definitely.
Moxley was the right guy.
Yeah, I think so. There's no one else real superstars in there. And I know you don't have to be a superstar title, but
Hmm.
it's a believable character. It has some kind of believability there, and I think Moxley is definitely.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I kind of there. Like, I think it'll be a while before Kenny Omega, but they have to build up Kenny Omega as I think they're doing that now. He needs to break away from the elite, but we're still not there yet. Still very. Um, Carl, we were scheduled to our first NXT WWE from Dublin,
Yeah,
right? It's supposed to happen on the 26th of April.
that's right. Yeah, I think
Do you,
gonna happen.
you don't think that's going to happen?
Oh well, I mean, if all of our gigs are getting cancelled left, right, and centre, I don't see that
That's fair.
happening.
That's fair. Like loads, yeah, pretty much all the gigs that were lined up until May, even in May itself,
Yeah,
sort of May are gone. So yeah, man, I just don't see this happening, and I'm kind of glad I didn't buy tickets for it now because I was waiting to see. But I feel bad for anyone who did buy tickets because this was a big thing for us.
it was. But look, I mean, if WWE believe in Dublin, which I think they do, they'll reschedule. They will reschedule it. So I'd say
I,
they will.
I, and look, it's an NXT UK takeover show, so it's not. It would have been something special. It's not a huge, massive thing, but it is massive for us. And hopefully they do come back when this kind of, 2021 probably I think is when they'll angle to come back. But yeah. So on the list, WrestleMania April 4th and 5th, first two nights WrestleMania. This is the first time it's been on two nights. I know it's been in two or three venues at one point,
Yeah, but it's the first time it's been on 2 nights. Yeah.
which is crazy. I think I'll take off April 6th because I kind of want to experience this in real life. Impact had Impact Rebellion on the 19th, but that's obviously cancelled. They've cancelled that.
No one
Uh,
watched it, so
I don't even know who's in it.
go ahead.
uh, NXT, obviously the 26th of April. That's gone. That looks like it's going to be gone. And
Yeah.
then May 23rd, AEW Double or Nothing. So
Hopefully, well, they're
you don't
probably
know.
going to be cancelled. So
Hopefully not. Like I'm still working under the hope that this is all cleared up by May, but it probably won't be. We just don't know. But at least for AEW, if things are still fine, they'll still be able to go. But again, it could be a point where we reach it, where
yeah.
someone gets infected and has shown symptoms, or test positive, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling done. Because we football, rugby, Gaelic, hockey, basketball, all done. So
All, all
all
done.
done. So it's only a matter of time, really, and it sucks. It really does.
Let me
But
before
yeah,
we go there.
yeah,
Let me ask
go
you
on.
a question.
Yeah,
What do you think of Jake Roberts showing up in AEW?
I think it's great. I think it's great. I love what he's done. I
I,
love the
I love him.
everything. Like I think it's a great role for him. I love the video package that they had where it was kind of like eh, the old kind of like mixed in the hills have eyes and kind of the way it was
Yeah,
shot was great. Jack Roberts, it's a perfect role for him, as that mouthpiece
yeah.
and kind of collective.
He, he is one of the best promo men ever.
It,
Absolutely.
it's weird when you think back that it's taken him so long to find his place
Yeah. He would
in
have
that role.
he would have been perfect as a booker for WWE. You know.
Oh yeah, well look, the thing about with WWE again, like everything that we could want, it can be kiboshed by Vince very
Yeah.
easily. And that's the truth of it. So I'm kind of hoping that we get now the career defining management run of Jake Roberts. I
Yeah.
think we will. Like I know you're not a huge AEW fan. And look,
Getting there slowly.
yeah, like it's a tough product to kind of get because it is very very different. But I look forward to every week watching it. Like I watch NXT, but I watch it after.
Yeah, yeah.
AEW, I'm like, well, look, I know there's something on this show that's going to be worth watching.
Mm.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we're recording this on a Tuesday. It goes on tomorrow, so we'll see. But, Carl, listen, man, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. We have to do this again.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks
But,
for having me.
no worries. Before I let you go, how can people reach you? Are you on social media, or what do you want to plug?
Well, I'm on Facebook. On Yeah, just yourself. Everything. I'm on all social media.
All
Carl King.
social media.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If you're looking for a good introduction into Irish metal, check out King's Court podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on all over the place. And yeah, we'll leave a link in the description of this show. So thanks very much for joining us. We'll talk to you later.